I would like to welcome everyone to our webinar today. My name is John Benson. I am with Penglase and Benson, where we help businesses make and keep more of their profits. And today we have a webinar entitled Top 10 Legal Mistakes for Small Businesses. Let us tell you a little bit about our firm before we get started and what drove me to work with businesses. When I was growing up, my family had a small business. We built homes. And it was, my father did a fantastic job. He built beautiful homes. The homes still stand today all around the county, and they were absolutely beautiful. He did a great job. He poured everything he had into it. He was up at the crack of dawn, and he worked until almost 11 o'clock every single night. But unfortunately, the business didn't succeed. After a number of years, it just kept declining. What he could do was he built a beautiful product. What he wasn't really good at was the business side of the equation. And because of that, he constantly struggled, and he couldn't understand why he wasn't doing better, even though he was working harder and harder and harder. And he just figured if he just kept driving that nail and doing a really good job, that the clients would come and they would buy the homes and he would be successful. And unfortunately, that's just not the way the world works anymore. And so when I got into law and when I opened my own practice with my partner, Craig Penglase, what we wanted to do was we wanted to kind of draw on that experience. We wanted to work with business owners who do a really great job making whatever product it is that you make, but who may not necessarily be the best in business. You're good at what you like to do and what you produce, but maybe not the business side of the equation. We're here to kind of help you so that you don't fall into some of the traps my father fell into and other businesses all around the country fall into. So many businesses are out there and they have wonderful ideas, but they just don't know how to execute it from a business standpoint. We found that a lot of the businesses that we had formed over the years simply don't exist anymore because of the pandemic or for other reasons. And so we are here to kind of help you so that you have the best possible business, that you have something that you will make a profit with, that you have a business in which it is working for you, not you for it. And that you have a business that at the end of the day is bringing to you what you are seeking, whether it's revenue or personal satisfaction from a job well done or whatever. We want the business to work for you. So without further ado, I'd like to kind of get into the program today. And again, what we're going to be covering over this webinar is the top 10 legal mistakes for small businesses, and more importantly, how you can avoid them. Now, at the end of the day, we understand you're not a lawyer. You do what you do very, very well. And we want you to stay doing that and not having to worry about the business side of the equation. You're a business owner, you're not a lawyer, which means you spend your time thinking about how to find new customers or to build your team and grow your business. You don't spend much time thinking about legal matters, and that's a good thing. But the truth is, without a solid legal strategy in place, your business is vulnerable. Together, we're going to detail 10 of the most common, most dangerous legal mistakes that small business owners business owners make. These mistakes can be extremely damaging down the road. So put a strategy in place to be sure your business is built on a solid legal foundation. Okay, so what are these mistakes? The number one mistake, this is something that is very crucial, so make sure that you write this down. The number one legal mistake that we see business owners fall into is not incorporating. And when we say incorporation, it can be a C corporation, an S corporation, or an LLC. Many business owners don't incorporate, which means that their personal assets aren't shielded from business assets. That means if there is a lawsuit or a financial dispute, the business owner can potentially lose his or her property in addition to the business assets. At the end of the day, if you're not incorporated, your wealth, your house, your TV, your toaster, they are all vulnerable in a suit. Depending on your type of business, you have three options for incorporating. You can be a C corporation, an S corporation, or an LLC. Now, each option requires formal documentation which must be filed with the appropriate state agency. A C corporation might be the right business type for you if you need venture capital for financing, or you want flexible profit sharing among your owners, or you want company earnings to stay in your business so that it can grow. An S corporation might be the right business type for you if you want to take advantage of benefits that the corporate business type holds, but you want to take advantage of pass-through taxation, meaning that you want the business assets to pass through and go through your tax return. You want the flexibility to set up salaries for employee owners, to minimize Social Security and Medicare taxes, and you want the flexibility of accounting methods, which is the #1 reason people will go with an S corporation. An LLC might be the right type of business if you have a startup company that anticipates losses for at least 2 years, and you want to be able to pass the losses through to yourself and to the other owners. Or an LLC would be good for flexibility for accounting methods, because LLCs are required to use the accrual method of accounting as C corporations typically are. If your business is going to be a real estate holding company, LLCs are usually the way to go for you. If you want management flexibility, again, the LLC is probably the way that you want to go. And these are just a few of the many examples. What I usually recommend before a company starts, one of the best things you can do is go to your accountant. Your accountant is going to know the best legal strategies, best tax strategies for you. They're going to be up to date with all the most recent tax codes. They are usually the ones who can advise you best whether you want to be a C corporation, an S corporation, or an LLC. And at the end of the day, the work that goes into creating each of those is going to be about the same amount of time. You're going to get the same protections by being either a C corporation, an S corporation, or an LLC. So from a liability standpoint, it won't matter much which way you go, but it could matter for tax purposes. So before creating that business, make sure that you check things out with your accountant or your CPA. Legal mistake #2 that you need to be concerned with is not having a partnership agreement. If you're starting a business with a partner, it is crucial that you have a detailed partnership agreement in place. This agreement should detail each partner's financial contributions, responsibilities within the business, and the process by which the partners can exit the business. Failure to agree and document these details can be catastrophic down the road. Should something happen, there be a dispute between the partners, you're going to want this partnership agreement that's going to spell out exactly what happens when there is a disagreement. You're going to want this partnership agreement to kind of tell you what happens if you want to add people, or if you're butting heads and you can't decide on something. This is going to be very crucial to have. Now, there are many things that you'll want to include in your partnership agreement. The main points to cover would include a percentage of the ownership, a division of profit and losses, the length of the partnership, how you would resolve disputes, what your authority is going to be, and what would happen should you want to either leave the partnership or one of the partners should die. All of these should be in your partnership agreement. Legal mistake #3, failing to separate your personal and business expenses. It is important to properly separate and document your expenses, otherwise you could face an IRS nightmare. You can start by setting up the business debit or credit card for your expenses. Opening a checking account strictly for your business that is also essential for keeping finances separate. You should try and pay yourself a salary. That way you know every week you're going to be getting something from your business. Your business is working for you, not you for it. So you want to write a check to yourself every other week or every month from your business checking account to track and account for your salary. Don't just use the business checking account and say, hey, I'm going to go buy myself something instead of paying myself. No, you're commingling the funds. Now it looks like the business checking account is nothing more than a dummy account. It is there for your personal piggy bank and use, and now you can run into problems. I was a treasurer for a club one time, and it seemed like every single time that one of the business owners wanted to send their child on a field trip or something, they would use a business check. No, you're commingling the money at this point. You are going to not only face an IRS nightmare, but there could be a situation where if you were to be sued and a court believes you're not really running your business as a business, they can allow a creditor to pierce the corporate veil and come after you personally. This is the number one area where people are going to get in trouble, is by keeping their finances commingled. So you want to separate that. So if you're going to go on a trip, you want to make sure that you have the business write yourself a check for your salary. You will deposit it in your account, and then you will write a check from your account to the travel agent or the cruise industry or however you're going to travel. So you always want to make sure that there is a separation between your business accounts and your accounts. You want to make sure that you separate your receipts and keep them. Accounting apps such as QuickBooks can help by digitally attaching and storing receipts to expenses. Keep track of when you use personal items for business purposes. That way you don't get in trouble with the IRS. Legal mistake number 4, not having a tax strategy. With an IRS attorney or an accountant to develop your tax strategy, you can come up with an appropriate tax strategy. Proactive tax planning can save you thousands of dollars each year while keeping you out of trouble with the IRS. Trust me, having a tax strategy will save you the money. It is worth the money that you're going to spend on a good CPA to prepare a good tax strategy. You will get that back in the amount of savings that you're going to have at the end of the year. Now, there are a number of considerations small business owners should be aware of when creating a tax strategy. For example, are you paying tax on billed earnings when you haven't collected the cash? You may be eligible to become a cash basis taxpayer, wherein you pay tax only on income actually received. Do you pay throughout the year? Paying taxes quarterly can help you to avoid penalties and better manage cash flow. Are you taking advantage of tax credits? A tax credit is a dollar-for-dollar reduction of your tax bill, as opposed to a tax deduction, which lowers your taxable income amount on which your tax is then calculated. And these are just a few of the many strategies available to small business owners. So make sure that you have a tax strategy with a good tax planning attorney. And not every attorney, not every CPA is able to do these tax strategies. So when you're out there interviewing people, make sure your accountant, your CPA is knowledgeable in tax strategies and can help you. Having a tax strategy just isn't, hey, on April 15th, I'm going to pay my taxes. It is coming up with a strategy throughout the year to help you save on those taxes once your tax year has ended. So make sure that when you interview a CPA, they can help you with tax strategy, not just with filing a tax return. Legal mistake number 5, failure to protect intellectual property. That's right, every business has intellectual property. The proper use of patents, trademarks, and other intellectual property protection is essential as you develop your business and build your brand. You want to meet with your attorney and develop a plan to protect your intellectual property. Any original ideas, designs, discoveries, inventions, or work created by an individual or group can be covered under intellectual property. Because information has become so easy to access and distribute, safeguarding your creations and works from infringers, copycats, and thieves is vital to your small business. A few ways to protect intellectual property would include utilizing copyrights, trademarks, and patents, registering your business, product, or domain name associated with it, employing non-disclosure or licensing contracts for employees and partners, and implement security measures. Legal mistake number 6, infringing on a trademark. Violating the intellectual property rights of another business can become a costly mistake, whether it was done intentionally or not. It's important that you do your research before settling on a name for your company and your products. So when you get going, if you come up with a name or something, then you want to make sure you've done your research. If you're looking to just have your business incorporated in the state of Pennsylvania, it's very easy to research this. If the name hasn't been reserved, then you are allowed to use it. And once you have filed with the state the proper documentation to reserve your name, no one else in the state can use it without your approval then. And that gives you the ability to control your name and how it is used. Now, if you're going to go outside the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, then you need to speak to someone regarding maybe a trademark. For instance, you're not going to be able to use the Magic Ears or the Magic Kingdom or Mickey Mouse's representation on your business, because it would confuse Walt Disney World with your business. They have a trademark on those various images and names. You want to have the same protection, and there's no reason you shouldn't have the same protection. Nothing would be worse than spending all of your time and all of your effort developing your brand, logos, images, and all the ideas that come with your business, only to have someone else reserve a name similar or same to yours because you didn't do it, and now everyone is confused and they're going to pirate all the great work that you did into their company, and there's no way to protect it. So you want to make sure that you've taken the proper steps to protect your name, to protect your brand, to protect anything that is unique to what you do and how you do it. Legal mistake number 7, not creating and using contracts with customers and vendors. This was one place my father got into trouble a lot. He was of the generation that everything was done on a handshake, and a handshake meant everything. And unfortunately, we don't live in that society today. Today, we live in a very litigious society, and so you need to have contracts that are there to help you. Contracts are very vital because it is going to spell out exactly what everyone's expectations are, what everyone needs to do, and more importantly, if something goes wrong, now you have something that you can bring into court that clearly shows what you are entitled to. I see it every single day. A business will call up with hundreds of thousands of dollars owed to them in accounts receivables. And I'll say, okay, do you have a contract? No. Well, then we're going to get to court, and you're going to say, hey, I did work for A, B, and C, and I should be paid money. And the court's going to say, that's not a problem. Let's see your contract. When you say, I don't have one, the other party's going to say, well, we didn't enter into a contract. I didn't agree to that. And now you're going to end up having done all that work for nothing. So, number 7 is you need to create a contract. Not creating and using contracts with customers and vendors is probably the biggest thing that I see on a daily basis that businesses have problems with. Rock solid contracts with your customers and your vendors are essential to protecting your interests. You want to work with an attorney to develop these contracts and then make sure you are using them. And these can be very easy. Anymore with today's technology, you can come up with a set contract. You can have it saved on your computer. You can just cut and paste as needed. You can add simple terms in, but you'll have the main contract there. And then you just fill in blanks for each individual client. But then you know every day that you've got a set of terms that are there to work for you. I've got a lot of businesses, and what we do is we create a contract for them. We give it to them. They have it. It's theirs to use. If they want to change something, if someone says, gee, would you take this out or put this in, they usually will call and we'll talk it over, and then we'll make a joint decision. But it's there, and if there's no questions, all they have to do is pull it out of the drawer, fill in a few lines. They know everything's covered. They know they're going to get paid at the end of the day, and they can sleep better at night. Rock solid contracts should include the following: contract information of both parties, So you're going to want, their names, you're going to want their addresses, any contact information. Specific project terms and the scope of the contract. So exactly, if there's a certain term that's important to you, we want to make sure that's in there, but we want to make sure that the main things are going to be covered in this thing, and that the scope of the contract, just how much work are you going to do? When are you going to stop? At what point will things end? At what point will you receive a payment or payments? Are they going to be on certain dates, or are they going to be when you complete certain parts of the project? You want to have those in there. You want to have established payment terms. How are you going to be paid? When are you going to be paid? Is it going to be by check? Is it going to be in cash? Is it going to be in credit card? Is it going to be in some sort of bank transfer? What the dollar amount is and when it's going to happen. You want to have the details for project termination. When is this contract going to end? At what point? So that you know, okay, it is over. I have no further obligations. They now have an obligation to pay me. So we want to make it very clear when this is going to end, not that it's going to continue on ad nauseum. You want to have in the contract who's going to own the final copyrights. Is this still your product that you're going over and they're just being able to use it, but you retain ownership? Do they have the ownership? And if so, what do they have the ownership of? If you're designing something, maybe you have a patent on it. Well, just because you've given this project or this product to another person doesn't mean that they get to use your design now. So you want to make sure that all of that is spelled out. And very, very importantly, if you're going to have some sort of alternative dispute resolution, such as an arbitration clause, you want to put that in there. Arbitration can be a very cost-effective way of going to court to protecting your rights. Instead of being involved in a protracted litigation that could take years, sometimes the parties can agree on an arbitration clause, where they're going to arbitrate, how they're going to arbitrate, who they're going to arbitrate in front of, and whether or not you can appeal that arbitration. Sometimes you can put something in there where there's not going to be any appeal to the arbitration. So when I go to court, that's it. There won't be a lengthy 2-year appeal after that. Whatever the decision is, that's the decision. So these are all things you can put into your contract. Legal mistake number 8, not using a non-disclosure agreement. Whether it's employees, partners, vendors, contractors, or others, if you're sharing sensitive information about your business, you need to require a signed non-disclosure agreement. So you want to work with your attorney to develop this document. Just having a non-disclosure agreement, that's good, but having one signed is better. Because if we don't have it signed, the other side always has the ability to say, I didn't see it. I didn't agree to that. If you have them sign off on it, now they can't say those things. Now they can say, yes, I knew I couldn't give this information out, and now that it's out, I am liable. And you can even have in your non-disclosure agreement what will happen if they breach that term. If they go and disclose certain things, your customer list, how you do your business, who your customers are, what process you go by for creating something. If they disclose those things, you can build right in there what the damages are going to be, including attorney's fees, if you want to include that as well, just to make it a little more scary that they not breach this. Confidentiality agreements are also known by other names, such as a non-disclosure agreement, sometimes characterized by the initials NDA, confidential disclosure agreement, a CDA, proprietary information agreement, a PIA, or a secrecy agreement, SA. So does your business have one in place? If not, you should probably consider it, because every business has customers. Every business has customer lists. Every business has special ways that they do things. Do you really want to have an employee come on in, have access to all of your confidential lists, all your information about all your clients, then they leave your business only to start their own business, and guess what? They now have those contacts already established with your clients, and they're stealing your clients away based on information that you provided them when they were working for you. So confidentiality agreements are very, very important. Legal mistake number 9, no employment documentation. When hiring employees, there are many legal steps you need to take in order to comply with the law. It's important that you document employment eligibility, tax withholdings, non-compete agreements, and much more. Your business attorney can help you think this process through. You should have a file for every single person that is working for you, and in that file is going to have the confidentiality agreements that you entered into them with. It is going to have maybe a signature page that they received your handbook and that they're familiar with those things. If there are any performance reviews, it will be in there. If there are any disciplinary problems, it will be in there. If there is anything regarding taxes or payments, benefits, all goes in the personnel file. That way, if there's a problem, you can just pull that file out and walk right into court. Finally, legal mistake number 10, and that is not engaging an experienced business attorney. Business owners are hesitant to work with an attorney because of the costs involved. I get it. But the truth is, it is much cheaper to work with an attorney up front while you're building your business than it is to resolve a legal issue that appears later. You want to partner with an experienced business attorney and build your business on a solid legal foundation. Folks, this happens all the time. Playing it cheap is usually very expensive. We have a lot of people that will come to us, great businesses in the community. They come forward only when something went wrong. And they will then now be embroiled in litigation that will take years, plural, years. And they will spend tens of thousands of dollars on this litigation when, had they worked with an experienced business attorney up front to make sure that their contracts had all been reviewed, everything was appropriately taken care of. If they'd worked with them up front, they would have paid a fraction of that money, not gotten sued, and going on down the road working on their business, not working on their litigation. It is worth the money to find an experienced business attorney who is there to make sure that everything is taken care of, everything is going according to plan, that you have filed everything that you need to do, that you have done everything to keep the personal liability protections in place. Would you rather wait to get sued and find out that you're going to have to tell your spouse that your house, your TV, your toaster, your bank accounts are all exposed? Or would it be much cheaper to meet with that attorney once a year to make sure that you have done your corporate meeting, that you have corporate minutes, that you have kept your finances apart from the business finances, that you have filed the necessary documentation with the state, that you have an operating agreement or bylaws? All of these things could have been done in just a mere 30 minutes a year, or you can spend all that money on litigation later. So not having an experienced business attorney can be extremely expensive. So take a look at the 10 things we talked about today and ask yourself, how many of these 10 legal mistakes is your business guilty of? When you're ready to correct these mistakes, when you're ready to make sure that you don't have any business mistakes, we are here to help you. So those are the 10 mistakes that most businesses make. We certainly thank you for joining us today. We wanted to keep this short because I know we're in the middle of the workday, and we want to make sure that you're spending your time working on your business and not having to attend webinars or anything like that. So thank you so much for joining all of us. Now, what we do is we really like working with businesses. We like working with small businesses, such as the business my father had, and helping them to make sure that they are moving on the right track, that they are building their business, that their business is working for them and not they are working for it. And so what we've done is we've created what we call our business plan. What we do is we work with businesses all the time throughout the year to make sure that you don't fall into making one of those 10 business mistakes that we have just spent the last 30 minutes covering. What we do is through this plan, if you join the plan, what will happen is you have, number one, 100% access to me. You can contact me anytime you want. You can email me, you can call me, and you can do it as many times as you would like over the next year, and you will not get a bill. We want to make sure that your questions are answered. We want to make sure that when you need to talk to someone about a strategy or about something that you should do, you can do it and not have to worry about additional costs, because costs will kill a small business. So you have unlimited access to me for the year. In addition to that, you can have us review any document you want, as many documents as you want over that year, and you will not get a bill. That will make sure that if you have a question regarding a document before you sign it, it has been reviewed and you've had a chance to talk it over, what the good part and bad parts about it are. In addition to that, we will do your annual corporate meeting. We will meet with you once a year, and we will make sure that your corporate meeting is not only performed, but it is documented by corporate minutes, which will go in your records. So God forbid, if you were ever sued, you can pull these documents out along with all of your other corporation documents, show it to the court, and they should be able to give you personal liability protection. During the meeting, what we do is I take the next step. I want to make sure that you're growing. So in our first meeting, what I usually will do is I will make sure that we know how you did the previous year. We're going to open up your finances. We're going to see how much money you made the year before. And then we're going to talk about your goals for the upcoming year. How much money would you like to make this year? What are the things that you would like to do this year? Do you want to add staff? Do you want to add another location? Do you want to add a computer? Are there classes you want to take? We're going to put all those goals down along with your target revenue goal. And then when we meet the next year, I'm going to pull those minutes out. I'm going to say, okay, this year you wanted to make $200,000. How did you do? And we're going to look at the finances. We're going to see, did you meet your goal? If you did, then we're going to try and figure out why you made that goal. That way you're going to make the next goal. If you missed the goal, if you had set, say, a $200,000 income level, and you only came out at 150, then it's time to sit down and figure out why you missed the mark. That way, whatever mistake you've made over the last year, we have the opportunity to correct. You know, if you didn't open 2 locations, why didn't you open 2 locations? Was it something because of the pandemic, or did you just not get around to it, or were you hurting because of income or some surprise? Well, let's try and figure out what those problems are so we can make the next goal. So just putting the minutes down to me isn't enough. I think you need to set goals so that you can get things on track. I like to say that small businesses are usually so busy trying to keep the lights on every day that they don't plan to plan. And that is something that we want to work with you. So all of those things are done with absolutely no cost to you by joining our business plan. In addition, if you ever need us to do additional services, you receive a discount for those hourly services as we perform throughout the year. So if you had to go to litigation, you're not going to be spending the full amount that you would have to, so it helps save you money. If you needed a document drafted, you're not going to be paying the normal hourly rate. Now, the price for our business plan each year is $1,000. $1,000 gets you all of those things: unlimited access to me, review of documents, your corporate meeting, planning. All of those, along with the discounts, is just for $1,000. But we really want to thank all of you for joining us today. And so what we are going to do, I have to limit the amount of people that I can work with because at some point I find that I'm stretched too thin and I can't give each business the time that they need. So what we're doing for today, for our thanks for joining you, is we are offering a discount of 50%. So that is $500 for the year. $500 gets you all of those things: your access to me, the review of the documents, the discounted rate, and the corporate meeting. We are offering that to the first person who reaches out to us who would like to take advantage of the business plan. All you have to do to take advantage, if you're interested, is you can reach us through our website, penglaseandbenson.com. You can give us a call. Our phone number is 215-348-4416. You can email me at jbenson@penglaseandbenson.com. You can also reach out if you ever need to find us. We are on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. All you have to do is reach out, tell us that you want to be a part of the business plan, and you will receive that 50% discount for being the first one to do so. And here's the best part: there's a money-back guarantee. If you participate in this and at the end of the year you say, John, I do not feel that I got my $500 out of this, I will return that money to you, no questions asked. It comes with a money back guarantee. What we believe is by giving this guarantee, you are going to see that it is going to return so much more in the way of profits to you than the monies that you're about to spend. This is an investment. And it's an investment in your business to see that your business is not only running well legally, but that you are sleeping well at night. Because that is the #1 reason you have the business and you go and get an LLC or an S Corp or a C Corp so that you can sleep at night. So God forbid if there is a problem with the business and you do get sued, they can get the assets of the business, but they can't get to you. They can't get to all the things that you have spent your lifetime developing. So again, this is offered to you. All you have to do is reach out and let us know. Be the first one. You'll receive a 50% discount, and it comes with a money back guarantee regardless. You don't see the value, you're going to get your monies back. So right now, that concludes our presentation for you today. I hope that you found value in all of this. I hope that this brought value to your business and that you can use this to help grow your business further. I would like to open it up to any questions any of you might have. If you do have a question, you can either enter it in the chat box or you can unmute yourself and let us know, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have. Okay, well, we thank you for attending at this time. If you should have any questions, please, again, feel free to reach out to me either by going to our website. You can contact us and email us that way. Give us a call at 215-348-4416. You can email me at any time at jbenson@penglaseandbenson.com, or you can check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Mike, I see that you're interested in joining up. You are the first one in, so you are certainly going to get that discount, sir, and I hope you find that it brings value to your business. All right, thanks a lot for attending, everyone. We really appreciate it. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me at any time because we are here to help you make and keep more of the profits in your business. Have a great day, everyone.
Thanks, Sean.